If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm today to get started. Hello, self-developers, and welcome to the Patrick Kelly Podcast for Self-Development, where I will be reviewing audible books on self-development that can change your life for the better this year and years to come. It is said that if we keep on doing what we always did, we will keep on getting what we always got. In other words, to change our output, we first have to change our input. Today is March 13th, 2022, and this is episode 11 of season 2. And today we'll be reviewing the audible book, Understanding Other People, The 5 Secrets to Human Behavior by Beverly Flaxington. This audible book will teach you how to understand other people and master 5 secrets on human behavior. We struggle on a regular basis to make sense of other people and their viewpoints. Poor communication is at the root of so many of our pains and problems, and our lack of knowledge about what to do can paralyze us. The most powerful people are the ones who understand themselves better than others understand them. This is because if we recognize what we are doing in our communications and we can understand what others are doing, it gives us expanded choices in how to respond and how to behave. The secret lies in how to achieve this power.
Secret number 1.
It's all about me. Now, we don't actually say that all day to ourselves, but it is the message that underwrites every single thing we do. This is a big pill for everyone to swallow and accept because it says that I am always focused on me. The truth is that if we are honest with ourselves, we see that every thought we have, every experience we go into, we color with me. Basically, it comes down to the fact that we all unintentionally view every experience through our own lenses. Everything we see, hear, and do gets filtered through the mechanism I call me. On a day-to-day basis, is that as hard as I might try to look at something with an objective eye, I can't. I see whatever I see through the lens called me. I color all of the events I encounter with my own expectations, my own beliefs, and my own concerns and needs. Accepting secret number 1 and learning to understand that other people have their own filters that differs from the one you have releases you from spending your whole life trying to convince others of what they've seen, what they should believe, and how they should behave.
Secret number 2.
Our behavioral styles come between us. In my consulting business, we use a wonderful behavior tool called DISC, which stands for Dominance, Influencing, Steadiness, and Compliance. The importance of learning my DISC profile allows me to more objectively understand why I may communicate in a particular way and why someone else's communication style might be difficult for me. It's not that I don't intuitively know myself, it's just that I haven't had an organized way to understand why I conflict with individuals so often and in so many ways. Behavioral style is often at the root of our differences. There are different scales of behavior, different approaches we each take to solving problems, communicating, addressing an issue, or putting a plan together. The way we approach almost all of the life activities we do every day is usually a function of our natural behavior style or the way we are adopting in order to cope in a different environment. Behavioral style is one of those secrets that once you understand it, so much of what has been confusing about what other people do or even why you do what you do begins to make sense. We behaviorally fall somewhere on each of the 4 scales. So in addition to how we might behave on any one scale, how they interact with one another also matters. To make it easy to recognize the four scales, D, I, S, and C, we call them the 4 P's of behavior. We look at problems, the dominant scale, people, the interacting scale, pace, the steadiness scale, and procedures, the compliance or rules scale, and then assign rankings to the people based on how they deal with these issues. A shorthand way for identifying the different behaviors is as follows. And remember that those who are low on any of the scales will effectively show the opposite reaction. High D, fast talking, fast moving, and oriented to task. They want to get something done. Give them a challenge and let them loose. High I, fast talking, fast moving, and oriented to people. Energized and optimistic. They are focused on the experience. High S, slower talking, slower moving, but oriented toward the good of the team. They will accommodate and work tirelessly to get things done for everyone. High C, the slowest of all the styles in their thinking and their talking. They are oriented toward the task at hand and want things to be right, and will uphold the quality standards and the rules.
Secret number 3.
Your values speak louder than you do. While behavioral style comes across and can be observed by what we do, values are the why, the reasons for what we do. Values are much more under the covers than behavioral style. Behavioral style is observable. I can see how you interact with me, and I can watch your behavior and know how I might need to modify my behavior or why we aren't connecting very well. Values are more difficult to figure out. We don't necessarily express them in an easy-to-read fashion. However, once you learn secret number 3, you'll be able to figure out the value that lie hidden in others and understand that while they aren't as overt as behavior, we do show the world what is important to us. By becoming a keen observer, you'll discover that values are underneath everything we do and come into play in our daily decisions. The 6 core values are utilitarian, individualistic, theoretical, social, traditional, and aesthetic.
Utilitarian.
Utilitarian value-driven people are focused on the return on investment, ROI. They want to gain a return on any investment of time, money, and energy.
Individualistic.
Individualistic value-driven people have a focus on ego-oriented activities. The scale used to be called political because many politicians who like to be in the limelight are high on the individualistic value.
Theoretical.
Theoretical value-driven people love to learn. They are lifelong learners, and to them, the world is just one big classroom where ideas and new experiences abound.
Social.
Social value-driven people are motivated by others. They focus on other people. Often they want to make a contribution, so they will invest time in charitable endeavors or spend time where they are able to interact with people.
Traditional.
The traditional value used to be termed religious because frequently it is a set of religious values gained from association with a specific religion. Traditional value-driven people believe that a given set of rules exists and that they and others must abide by those rules without question.
Aesthetic.
Aesthetic value-driven people look for beauty in the world. They are interested in and focus on beautiful things.
Secret number 4.
Don't assume I know what you mean. Secret number 4 is really all about context and using your understanding that other people are not you, and then using this information to allow you to become a more successful communicator. If you've accepted so far that it's all about me, and you've come to recognize the behavioral differences between us, and you understand that values speak very loudly, you can see that we initially approach other people assuming that they have the same perspective that we do. We share what we want to share and expect someone else to completely understand all our context and meaning. But don't assume I know what you mean, because I don't. I haven't walked in your shoes, lived your life, had your experiences, and come to the same conclusions you've come to. And most importantly, I can't read your mind, and you can't read mine. So we don't have the ability to see clearly all of what's underlying our communication.
Secret number 5.
I'm okay. You are most definitely not okay. Most religions honor the core idea of loving your neighbor as yourself, so it certainly makes sense at first glance. Unfortunately, in practice, we don't really act this way. Deep down, we like to believe that we're right, we're the understanding one, we're the one who can communicate, and that everyone else is the problem. If only I could get you to see my viewpoint and understand that I'm right, all would be well with the world. What we really want is a secret key that will enable us to show other people around us that they've been doing it all wrong all along, and we can help them to do a better job. We all know that the other person over there with whom we hope to communicate is not okay. After you've taken the time to understand and practice using some of the previous 4 secrets, I hope you can see the foolishness of the belief that everyone else is wrong and you need to show them the light. The truth is that you, that other person over there, are never going to be okay with me because you're not me. You don't talk like me. You don't have the same exact behavioral style I have or share my values, etc. We seek a reflection of ourselves, someone who will make it easy for us to connect and communicate. Research shows over and over again that we will buy from someone we like. Who do we like the most? You got it, the person who's most like me. But even if you share a lot of my same characteristics, there will come the day when you annoy me because you aren't exactly, can't be, in fact, like me. You'll never be completely okay in my book because you aren't me in the mirror. Closing thoughts. On a scale of 1 to 5, I would give this audible book a 4.5 for providing 5 secrets to human behavior in order to understand other people. To find out more about this audible book, go to www.audible.com and download this audible book, or go to www.the-collaborative.com to find out more information about the author. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you do not miss an episode. And also remember to please share this episode via text or email with friends and family and other people that you care about. Follow me on Twitter at Kelly Podcast or Instagram at PatrickKelly_podcast. For more episodes of the Patrick Kelly Podcast for self-development, go to www.thepatrickkellypodcast.com. If you would like to donate $1 or more to the support of this podcast, click the donate button at www.thepatrickkellypodcast.com or go to $Patrick Kelly Podcast on Cash App, and I'll be sure to thank you on the next episode. Shout out to Grace Ilori for her donation to the podcast. Thank you very much. This is the end of this podcast for today. Tune in next week Sunday for the next episode and the next audible book of over 300 books that I'll be reviewing on the Patrick Kelly Podcast for self-development. If you enjoyed this podcast, take a moment to rate and review on Apple Podcasts. This really helps me out. Feel free to share this podcast with someone you care about. And remember, your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. Take care.